Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm so glad to be able to be here with you in chapel. I'm Reverend Jacob Hero Shaw. I am on the faculty for the Trans Religious Leadership Cohort, and I work at CLGS with the Trans Roundtable. I invite you to center yourself in whatever way is most comfortable to you. Today, we are honoring Trans Day of Visibility, and we have quite a few people who are participating in the service. Thank you to everybody, especially our special guests who are current students in the cohort. With that, I will pass it along to Jamie, who is going to do our land acknowledgement.
We acknowledge that we do not own the land we occupy. The land sustains us and provides for our needs. We also must acknowledge those that have come before us and occupied these lands we now call home. I urge all of us, wherever we may be, to learn about the indigenous peoples that have cared for the lands we now occupy, and those same people that the land has cared for before us. Our campus in Berkeley, California was once occupied by the Ohlone tribe. In Florida, where our cohort pastor Jacob lives, was occupied by the Tocobaji and Seminole tribes. And the land I now occupy in Baltimore, Maryland, was once managed by the Piscataway Conoy tribe. We ask our ancestors to guide us as we strive to care for the lands, waters, and airs around us, wherever we have been placed. So mote it be.
May we join together in singing Fearfully, Wonderfully Made.
Let us pray. A Trans Prayer of Divine Understanding by M. Jade Kaiser. Creative Spirit, holy momentum, ever transitioning one, Do you hold the prayers of trans people close, like the embrace of someone who understands, a source of comfort or hope? We share this joy, you and us, taking on new forms that life might thrive, shedding what no longer fits or never did. Struggles we share too, religious beliefs that confine being and becoming, enduring acts of violence born from fear and fueled by power. Though even we endure too much too long, how burdensome is your lot. Centuries pass and still, so few who claim to love you believe you are who you say you are, calling you an excuse for bigotry when you are a river of love. Do all the theologies of hate and songs of Sunday apathy land on your ears like a dead name, something given to you that you never asked for and just won't go away? Do you wince each time a prayer ascends to Him? Because more than anything, you know what that means to do is distance you from the likes of her or them. When you stretch out your arms as the embrace of a gentleman, or kick out your feet as the dance of a woman, or run wild in open fields through every genderless or gender abundant or non binary kiddo loving their flesh, do you take delight in every fit, finding a spot of home in every body? The glory of your multiplicity cannot be hidden away. We may be a long way from safety yet, but your mercies are new every morning, and with each day dawns new possibilities of sacred transition into a world more fitting for everyone. May your blessing be upon all your trans beloveds. Take pleasure in us, your stunning incarnations, and as we care for each other, may the God we practice be a comfort and a strength.
Hi, my name is G. Williams. My pronouns are they, she, he. And I am so genuinely delighted to be speaking to you all here today in honor of Trans Day of Visibility. I'm grateful for the invitation that PSR has extended to the Trans Seminarian cohort, on which I get to be a member. I am so blessed by that reality. And I am here today to talk to you a little bit about my spiritual journey and my trans identity. I've written a little something and I will be reading off of the page over here, but my endeavor is to look at you all sort of through this screen and share this moment with you. Thank you. I am a Unitarian Universalist seminarian, and I am also a mixed race, Black, queer, trans person. And I walk in this world with deep gratitude for the body I live in and the communities that have shaped me. When people ask me what my faith means to me, I don't offer creed or doctrine, I offer a body, my body. My faith is embodied. It lives in my skin and in my breath and in the movement I make through the world. It's not theoretical. It is practical, grounded, and action-oriented. I cannot separate my spirituality from the reality of my transness because they are one and the same. My trans identity is a spiritual truth. It's not a detour from faith. It's the sacred path that has taught me how to live with it, how to live with integrity and resist binaries, and how to trust the complexity of all that is holy. Among other things, Unitarian Universalism is a covenantal and relational faith tradition. We are bound not by dogma, but by promises, by how we show up for one another in community. And while I've spent my entire life surrounded by faith communities with many different creeds, the community that actually taught me what it feels like to belong to a people was the queer community. It was chosen family and queer kin who taught me what it means to love fiercely, to disagree deeply and still show up the next day at the table, to practice accountability and to forgive others the way that I so desire to be forgiven when I have committed wrongdoings against those that I love. It is the queer community that taught me what covenant actually looks like. Not just words on a piece of paper, but how we build trust and safety together when the world has made it very clear that it cannot offer that to us. I believe we carry sacred truths in our bodies. That my body, fat and black and trans and beloved, holds wisdom that cannot be fully articulated in words. I will nonetheless spend the rest of my career trying to do this, but I know there are things that live inside of me, truths that I hold deep in my body that I will never be able to translate out. Those truths, those embodied truths, resist contradictions that the world tries to place on me, onto us. They say, your complexity is not to be derided, but rather to be delighted in. That you are already whole. That you are making the world a richer place to be just by endeavoring to be within it. As a Unitarian Universalist seminarian, it is my work not just to preach this method, but to live this method. To create faith spaces where we can bring our whole selves. To build communities where queer and trans people are not just included, but held up and looked to as leaders. Where embodiment is honored and not shied away from. Where the sacred is not up in the clouds and nebulous and abstract, but right here between us, in flesh and blood, in locked hands and locked lips, in how we care for one another, how we hold tension, how we use our shared values to design together a richer world. This is not easy work, especially in the moment that we are in. But to me, it is the only work worth doing. So I sit here not in spite of my transness, but because of it. My faith would be impossible without it. My theology would be incomplete without the lessons my body teaches me daily about resilience and change and belonging. And so I return to covenant. I return to relationship. I return to the call to love more deeply, to act more justly, and to live more fully. Because I believe that my liberation is bound up together with yours, and by containing myself, I only serve to confine those that I love. May we all be free. Thank you. Ashe, Amen, and blessed be.
My name is Ben Lux Morgan. My pronouns are he, they. I want to thank you for the honor of joining you today. I'm a final year rabbinical student and a very proud member of the trans seminarian cohort of this year. And I want to share a story with you of something that happened to me 2 years ago and some reflections on it 2 years down the line. I thought I was safe. I had tracked the bill from the moment I learned about it. It seemed like I would miss its legal impact. The drag ban law in Tennessee was originally scheduled to go into effect on July 1st, 2023, while my last scheduled student pulpit visit to B'nai Shalom congregation in Bristol, Tennessee was in May. I thought I wouldn't have to navigate whether or not I, as a transgender rabbinical student, could legally lead services in the state of Tennessee. Things changed when the law's implementation was moved up to April 1st. No one should have to send an email like the one I had to send to Hebrew Union College's director of fieldwork. I just found out that the drag bill in Tennessee now goes into effect April 1st of this year, and it also bans these amorphous public performances of male and female impersonation within 1,000 feet of houses of worship. Could we meet tomorrow to discuss my options? Critics of the bill understood that this law could target and criminalize transgender individuals performing in public spaces, And in its most expanded framework, it could deny the legal right for a transgender individual to lead services at a synagogue or a church or another house of worship. And you can release the breath you are holding. This is not a story about how a rabbinical seminary did wrong by its LGBTQ plus students, nor, and more importantly, is it a story about a congregation in rural Tennessee reacting poorly to the presence of a trans rabbinical student. I initially wrote this piece for an anniversary essay collection commemorating the 35th anniversary of the Central Conference of American Rabbis, the CCAR, formally allowing out gay and lesbian rabbis in the rabbinic body. Now, since 1990, much has changed for the LGBTQ plus community within the Jewish world, and much has also changed for the LGBTQ plus community in the wider world. And in many ways, I'm the lived reality of both of these statements. I was born in 1988, 2 years before the CCAR changed, and had nothing changed from the day I was born, I would not have been able to attend HUC, much less pursue my rabbinic career as an out trans man. I owe my ability to be me in my life to the work of queer and trans activists, thinkers, and leaders who came before me. Those who demanded that their secular world and religious universe formally recognize them as they are, B'Tselem Elohim, created in the image of God. Navigating my immediate legal safety between the new law and my student pulpit was only possible thanks to the organizing work by queer and Jewish communal leaders that came before me, and the formal work of individuals, allies, and the collective Reform Jewish movement of affirming the fundamental dignity of trans people. This is no minor religious matter. I believe that it is a transition to a world redeemed. And as a result of others' bravery and advocacy, I've been blessed to live a life in which I was able to legally and religiously marry my wife, to engender my transition, and pursue my rabbinic career in a profoundly fulfilling way. And this is so much so that when the law in Tennessee went into effect, I was able to approach my school for help and guidance, and they responded by taking my legal safety extremely seriously. HUC's legal counsel reviewed the legislation and determined that out of an abundance of caution, that we are concerned that trans or non-binary individuals present in the state of Tennessee may be subject to undue prosecution or detention in light of this legal development. And they said, therefore, and regrettably, HUC has made the decision to discontinue Ben Lux Morgan's in-person work at B'nai Shalom congregation in Tennessee. And the congregation responded exclusively with love and affirmation towards me. I felt held by the community, and their support for me was a space of sanctuary, both physical and spiritual. To be frank, I was anxious that this would not be the case, for no other reason than the cultural assumptions I held about Tennessee. And I was wrong. For me, the most significant part of the story is that this congregation in rural Tennessee was a true sanctuary. They were both compassionate in their response to me and outraged in their response to the law. And I will be always grateful for this wonderful community's response to the injustice upon me and them. That night, I finished my sermon with some thoughts on the Mishkan, the ritual tent that was collectively built by the Israelites in the desert, and which I'd like to share with you in closing today. This Mishkan as a metaphor of holiness that we must bring into being in our world today. A call is put out to everyone whose heart so moves them to bring their individual gorgeous materials, precious metals, gems, fabrics, and so much more, and their individual talents to the building process. And the response is so significant that the head artisan designer, Bezalel Ben-Uri, had to have Moses tell the people to stop bringing their precious materials, saying their efforts had been more than enough for all the tasks that needed to be done. When the task was finished, the divine presence entered the beautiful, collectively built space. To learn from Torah, we don't have to read the narrative literally. The Exodus narrative arc is the arc of the redemption from Egypt. And this arc ends here. Why? Now, in many ways, for Jews, redemption is to dwell with God. But here, Torah shows us that we have to collectively build our redemption. The promise of our redemption is this, that we, you, me, each and every one of us, must bring every part of our complete selves, ardently and with awe of the divine, to the task of creating a worldly tabernacle so beautiful that the divine will dwell amongst us. This is the story of our salvation. What it requires is that every person brings their whole being, body, talent, mind, spirit, to this unequivocally holy work. It requires us to remember and hold as a guiding force that each and every one of us is created in God's image, that we are born naked and all the rest is drag, and that we must bring everything, all our golden bangles, our linen caftans, our inexplicable dolphin skins, our shawls of blue, purple, and crimson yarns, to come together from our heart's desire, so much so that it is all more than enough. And together weave a world so fabulous, the divine presence can't help but join every one of us in our individual and collective holy celebration. And we know that there will be pharaohs and Amaleks and tacky golden calves testing us on our way. But I believe with perfect faith that we each have the caring, the capacity, the courage to weave together this divine world.
We're closing with this quote from Miss Major, who is a major trans activist and has done work in Berkeley, lives in Arkansas now. And she says, we have to remain visible. They have to see us, they have to know we're not going nowhere. That we've been here ever since God made, quote unquote, man and woman, and they have to get over it. And you have to know Miss Major to know that is exactly the way that she would say it, maybe with a little more spice than that. So thank you again. We are going to do our sending song now. We are building up a new world, which is to the tune of We Are Climbing Jacob's Ladder. And then we'll have our benediction. We invite you to rise as you're willing and able. The song We Are Climbing Jacob's Ladder. Few? Alright, I guess we're going to have to kind of skip through one. We are built. And also these words came from Dr. Vincent Harding. We sang this at Dr. Dorsey Blake's memorial. So let's just try it again. We are building. We are strong, courage, siblings, don't get preparations for our monthly community meal, and we invite those of you who are here to join us right after service today and enjoy one another.
As you leave this sacred space of trans joy, may you feel empowered to show your truest self. May you know that your visibility is a blessing. May you trust that you are the divine spark this world needs. As you travel through spaces of warmth and welcome, as you travel through deserts of fear and hostility, may you know that your journey is sacred, your body is holy, and you are uniquely called and profoundly loved. Amen.